Dude, we're rolling.
I just noticed your table topics. What are these for?
Oh, those are questions. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like they have themes normally.
They do, for sure. What's up, everybody?
Hi. Sorry. I got distracted.
We always start with like a completely random, introduction. There's no like, hey, how's it going? This is what we do. No, this is just
I don't know if
like,
we know how to be normal.
Kim found they're called table topics.
I love table topics, but I've never seen one that doesn't have like the theme on it.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's just got a puzzle piece. Is it like to support autism?
No, I think that's like a counseling box or whatever. The box of questions. What are they called again? You have the actual name for them. What are they called?
What do you mean?
Table topics?
Table topics.
Yeah,
you said it. You said the brand.
It's super funny because they're super expensive.
They are.
They're like $25 for a cube.
They are. I have 2 of them though.
And they break.
I really like them.
Did you know that? Oh yeah.
Oh,
that
well,
little case will break like crazy. But whatever.
I don't let the boys like pick the cards because I know that anything that my children touch are going to break. So how are you today, man?
Hey. Okay, folks, so you're in. This is how it starts. If this is your first episode, get ready. Buckle up. This is how this works. This is you are listening to the one and only Grease and Grace. There's nobody else like us on planet Earth.
No.
My name is Jordan.
My name is Kim.
And Kim is a chef. I am a pastor. And so Pastor Jay and Chef Kim is where that comes from, in case you didn't know. Because some people, might be looking at the website and being like, how did that get there?
I deal with a little grease. You deal with a little grace.
And that's where we live at. So every week, as you know, we take on a new topic. We dive into the greasy side of things. And when we say greasy, we mean, these things kind of irritate us, frustrate us a little bit or whatever. We need a place and an avenue to get out our grievances.
About anything and everything.
And this is that avenue. So let me tell you what, instead of just sitting there and griping to each other or our spouses, we decided to hit the record button.
To gripe to all of you.
And let you guys in.
Wonderful people.
I hope that when you're driving in your vehicle, you yell at your radio and are like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
Can I get an amen? That's how we need to start.
That is our whole goal, is for you to just yell out at the top of your lungs and scare the person next to you in your traffic line.
I like it.
Be like, what is happening right now? So we have some greasy things where, frustrates us. And then we look at it and try to see the positive side of things.
Yeah,
there's some graceful side of things.
There's always a good side.
Yeah, we don't want to just sit here and look at things and be like, hey, this is bad. Because, there is a passage in Scripture that says, do all things without grumbling and complaining. So we have to toe that line a little lightly, or whatever the case is. So sometimes it's a current event, sometimes it's pop culture, sometimes it's just a thing that we know it needs discussed. Like, for example, a couple weeks ago we talked about the ocean.
We did. So many people have been like, I am so impressed that you were able to talk about it. And I was like, listen, Jordan carried that message.
I carried the team on that one, man. Like, let me tell you what.
Your shoulders okay from carrying the weight of that episode?
It was quite the experience. I'm telling you what, when we were done, I was a little exhausted. I was like, I might have taken that thing a little too far. Actually, my kids are my biggest fan, our biggest fan. Sorry, I didn't say it. And they listen every week. So they're like, the ocean.
That's how, when I told my mom what we talked about, because she called me after that episode, she's like, you guys talked about the ocean?
Get out of here, right?
I was like, we did. And she's like,
crazy?
For a whole hour?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Somehow, some way, we made it happen.
It's therapeutic on some level.
We talk, guys, and you listen, and for that, we appreciate it.
Yeah, so buckle up, because you're going to get some laughter, some wisdom, sometimes some non-wisdom, because some of the things we talk about we know nothing about.
Lots of non-wisdom. Please do not get any of your information
for real
outside of Grayson and Grayson.
Amen. All right, so Kim, you got the topic this week.
Yeah.
We talked about the ocean a couple weeks ago. We talked about the Olympics. We've done the Olympics twice because we talked about the Olympics first, and then we went into because we watched the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so today we're talking about
fashion, which is perfect because Jordan and I, as I walked in today, Jordan and I were talking about fashion, and I was like, we're going to have to completely re-go over this
100%
on our grace side. I feel like this is the conversation that we had is on our grease side.
Yeah.
But Jordan and I both love clothes.
Oh, man.
I
lost my groove for about 7 months. I went into what I call a dark side, and I wore the same thing. I just wanted to see if I could do it.
I did notice on Sundays, you wore the exact same thing, and I kind of was like,
You're like, oh, Sam. And now these past couple weeks, people are like, he's back.
Yes. My mom was like, his outfit, like 2 weeks ago. She's like, I liked that outfit. And then she was like, I wonder if your dad would wear that. And I was like, no, he won't.
I'm trying to think what
my dad does not. It was like a white jacket maybe and some like skinnies, and you had your white Vans and like a t-shirt something like that. Yeah. And my mom was like, oh, I really like that outfit.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dad's not gonna wear that. No, he's not. Your husband?
He could pull it off though. Like your dad's a very like stylish guy, like in regards to just he for his age, like he could pull off. I think he could pull off.
He could, but
whether you want him to or not is totally
okay, so when he got married, him and my mom got married, he used to only wear black.
Okay.
Like that was all he wore. It was his favorite color. I don't know if
he went through my face.
Well,
or I went through his face.
Years.
Oh,
just
man.
would wear black. I think because it was easy and he didn't really know. So now he's branched out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so every once in a while, like we'll go shopping and see a shirt. And so a couple of years ago, I got my dad. Well, I did. Well, yeah, I got my dad like I don't know if it's pears or if it's lemons, but it's like a Hawaiian button up, but it's like pears and lemons.
Yeah.
He wears it every once in a while and it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but he doesn't style it as well. Like there's fashion, but then there's like styling.
Okay, so Kim, are we talking fashion in general today, or do you want to go specifics with this?
All of it. So like our fashion, how do we like see our own style?
Okay.
How is fashion going on in the world right now?
Okay.
Because my Lanta, I can see some runway shows, and I'm like, what in tarnation are you wearing?
So to
school fashion.
So to school fashion. Okay, so like we're gonna talk about it in our realms then.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna talk about like general fashion because I think when you talk about general fashion, there's goofy stuff. Like if you look up men's fashion right now on Google, you're gonna get the weirdest thing. You're gonna get like runway. We're not talking runway fashion is not fashion. I'm just gonna say that right now. And if you're a fashion designer, you would be triggered, and you should be.
Do you know a fashion designer, Jordan?
No. I
know people who can knit and crochet.
Like disgusting.
There's a chick who like she knits or crochet. I think she crochets her outfits, and homegirl looks great in her outfits.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
like I'm like, you knitted that or whatever.
Okay, so let's jump over to the greasy side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So in regards to fashion, what drives you nuts?
Well, first and foremost,
black pants and brown belts.
That's kind of in right now, actually. Like people are wearing like mixing up like their neutrals. I just saw
color is anything you want to do right now.
It is
totally.
It's kind of okay. I mean, in the world of just like normal civilians.
Give me your greasy side, like your number one.
My greasy side right now is crop tops.
Oh boy.
Crop tops have like made their way back in.
As you're talking, I'm looking at a site that you had sent me. So like if I seem disconnected, I'm like,
they don't have crop tops on the
They don't. There's
They've got great shirts, so we'll talk about them later. Anyways, crop tops and like low-rise jeans are coming back. Like all of the early thousands fashion, which I think comes from like another.
Did you just say thousands?
Yeah.
Is that the word?
Early thousands, yeah. Because what else do you call like 2000 to 2010? You call it
early thousands. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, it's the early thousands.
Good for you.
Yeah, and so
I'm gonna have to keep that in
my early
repertoire.
thousands fashion is starting to come back, and I am not here for it.
Okay.
Because stores are forcing, like at least for women to adhere to this insane.
The mom jean is still like
it is
big time out there.
The low-rise jean is coming back, and I am mad about it. And I think anybody.
Do you think that's just because of your age?
No, because when low-rise jeans were a thing, I hated them.
Yeah.
Because like you would bend over to pick up a pencil and your butt crack's hanging out.
Yeah. Hello, OC.
No.
Yeah.
And I've never liked it. My shirts, I always wanted to like tuck them in.
Which mom jeans make tucking in your shirt way easier.
So much easier.
Yeah.
But that's why like I had the cami. Do you know, have you ever worn a cami? No.
So I actually do because I have two girls. So this is the other reason why I keep my ear to the ground when it comes to fashion is, and I've always appreciated this. I went to a Christian college, always appreciated it at Christian college. I learned this at a Christian college, is that if you are practicing modesty, which you should be, always wear a cami underneath everything and tuck it in. Yep, because if your shirt comes up a little bit or whatever the case is, you're doing the fellas a favor.
Yeah,
and
but
that's good.
The low-rise jeans, still, you would tuck your cami in and then it would come up. I don't know. Josh says that I think the way that my back is like formed, he constantly is like pulling up my pants. I think because like I don't know how.
In public? Does this happen in public?
No, in public I wear mom jeans.
You're like shopping for groceries and you're in like the cereal aisle and Josh is like, come on, Kim.
No, but like if I'm wearing sweatpants or anything, my shirt will move up and my pants will move down, and so he's constantly like pulling my sweatpants back up.
That's love right there. Really that's a good marriage.
So yeah, I've always like worn undershirts because it drives me crazy. I don't like.
So that. anti low rise jeans. That's greasy for you.
Anti low rise jeans right now.
Give me another one. You're on a roll. I feel like you're carrying us.
I carried us. You carried us for the ocean.
Yeah.
So my next grease that I have is like high fashion, right?
Oh, we're runway
fashion.
Yeah.
Like I don't like sit and watch like Runway Week or anything like that, but like you see stuff pop up, and I don't understand how runway looks turn into what we wear on an everyday basis. Like I don't understand that.
The way that I perceive it, and again, I'm not an expert in this, so take this with a grain of salt or sand. A grain of sand. Is it sand or salt?
Salt.
Take it with a grain.
A grain of rice.
Yeah, whatever you want. A grain of anything you want. Do not take this as being serious, but from what I've heard, it's pieces of runway fashion come to the general public.
Who decides that?
So, like, for example, like you'll have this super elaborate thing that's on the runway, and basically one piece of that gets picked up by the public after some time has passed, and so then that piece like comes in. So, for example, like long necklaces. Right, so you may see like somebody who's on the runway and has like 100 necklaces on, but like there's that one necklace that you're like, oh, that looks good, like because it hangs just a little bit lower than like a normal one.
Interesting.
Well, then you give it enough time, and like now long necklaces are quote unquote in. So from what I gather, like that's how things start to be in. So like for example, that's how skinny jeans came in. Like there was like a runway that you had this like model, and all the pants for that show were tighter than they used to be, and so what happened was like people picked up on that, and then all of a sudden like culture just kind of like dictates that, and now all of a sudden like jeans are a little thinner. Now if you notice, jeans are getting back to being like more baggy.
Yeah,
so
I'm here for that. I have a pair of skinny jeans because I have to change after I leave here.
Yeah,
and I'm just like I can't
tuck everything in there.
I can't stand getting these specific ones on because they are like tight on my ankles.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's work.
It's too much.
It's so much work.
Yeah.
I've always liked wide leg jeans though.
It's not like a fabric in regards to fashion. My issue, greasy side of fashion, is anything fake. So you're going to have to run this by me. I do not understand that I'm going to trigger so many people in about 2 seconds.
Like fake fur? Save
eyelashes,
the animals, Jordan.
eyelashes, eyebrows, Spanx.
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff. These poor guys who are dating right now. Like these poor guys, you go out to the club, wherever you go, you like find this girl, you're having a great night with her, whatever the case is, and
you see her the next day.
And you're like,
oh girl, who's that?
A completely different animal. Like
it's all an illusion.
I can't even wrap my mind around like how disappointed.
Does it feel like catfishing a little bit?
100%. Real life catfishing.
I feel like
now. Yes, 100%.
I feel like now more so than ever.
Yeah.
Because like we have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have all of these things that are sharing all of us women these tips. The problem though is that most women aren't dressed well. I was gonna say most women aren't dressing for men, but there are some.
So just like run it down. Like you shouldn't take somebody home. But
no,
I'm not going down that road. But if that were to happen, right? Like women now like wear wigs, and so the
Yeah.
hair comes off, and then you got
Yeah.
hair underneath of that, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's not what you had on.
That's not your
Then
hair.
you like wipe off your eyebrows because you did that. Then you take your eyelashes off. Then you
Yeah.
take all your makeup. Makeup right now is crazy.
It is.
Because you could take like when you watch like a female take off her makeup, you're like, what? Like,
Yeah. Well,
we are
even-
borderline clowns painting our faces.
Well, even like I've seen a lot of makeup like influencers
Mm-hmm.
who like they can like cover just acne and stuff like that, which is
Great,
cool,
fantastic.
But then yeah, like I've always wondered from a guy's perspective, like how it has to be disheartening a little bit. Like even
100%.
I have makeup on today, and even like when I take it off, I'm like, you kind of look like a different person.
You do. Like, so I look at Bethany a lot, and I'll tell her, I'll be like, I love you without makeup.
Yeah.
Like I love you with makeup too. But like because that's you.
Yeah.
Like when she is at home in her sweatshirt, sitting on the couch, no makeup, end of the day, I'm like, boom. That's who I married. Like right there. You got it going on, girl.
Josh, do you think
That's what I think. I think you're fantastic just like that. People will dog this, and some people will say that they don't do it, but like I feel the same way about Amish women. Like when you see an Amish woman, she has no makeup on,
Yeah.
like very, very fine like features, and you look at it and they go, yeah, that's the way you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like but then you watch some people who are ex-Amish, and this is just our region or whatever, they will go to the flip side and they'll wear a ton of makeup because they could never wear it before.
they couldn't? Yeah, so it's like the pendulum swings the opposite
It's like no,
way.
you were
Yeah.
doing fine.
Yeah.
Like now you're on this other side. So that part of fashion like just grinds me. Like
Yeah, it's
real life
it's
catfishing.
really,
I love that.
it really
That's
is like because like we have so like women, we have Spanx that just is supposed to smooth things, but then there's like these like waist trainers,
Yeah.
which I don't.
You are manipulating your whole body.
You are, and it seems uncomfortable. As somebody
It seems-
who has
it
worn
is uncomfortable,
a
I
couple
guarantee
of those
it.
items, I don't have a waist trainer, but like I think anybody has Spanx. They're the most uncomfortable things, and you're so hot, which doesn't bother me as much
But
because
Kim,
I'm
it's-
always cold.
It's not just girls anymore. Like guys are doing this
Guys
now.
wear Spanx?
No, have you
Oh.
seen like the slimming shirts? Like that is the
Yeah.
sell. I'm like, bro, if you're husky, like get rid of that the right way. Like what are we doing? Like
It's
oh,
so much easier. Sometimes it's just to mask an insecurity. Because let me say that with all of that, like when I am going out in public, I'll go out in public. So I have like two modes. My friends.
I didn't think I'd have any grease in this episode. It is starting to just amp up. Keep going. Yeah.
So I have like two modes, and my friends have mentioned this so many times. I either look like a homeless bum or I am like dressed to the nines. Like I'm pretty in between, but very
I was gonna say
rarely.
today you're kind of in between.
I'm right in between,
Yeah.
but that's because I'm like still comfortable, but like I needed to go and do things and like be out in public, and I needed to at least be ready, and I felt weird having makeup on and looking homeless. So I have my like other corporate clothes happening. That
This
I
is
will
not
be
now.
changing
It's just
in.
not gonna happen now.
Not gonna happen now. So anyways, yeah, I have like either homeless or like dressed real nice.
Right,
There's
right.
very few times that I am in between. And I will say that if I am going out in like my homeless mode, that's like, I don't care. You can comment on me however much you want. I could not care less. But there are a lot of times that I go out and I want to put makeup on because it makes me feel better. Like it just makes me feel like, okay, I'm ready for the day kind of a
So
thing.
unpack that for me, because this happens with, I'm not even going to name women because I will like, I mean, I'm not going to have any friends after this
Carla,
episode.
Vivian, you're just gonna. I'm trying to pick out names. Hopefully, you don't know.
I feel like women do this a lot. They're like, well, oh, man, I wish Bethany was in this episode because like she'll we were just at a conference. This is a great example. And she's like getting ready. And she's like, and I'm like, nobody knows you here. Like nobody has any idea who you are. I'm like, now she wasn't like wearing a dress or anything. She was looking presentable.
Yeah.
But she's like, people will see me though. And I'm like, and like they're never gonna come. You're never gonna see these people again. Why do women do that?
It makes you like. It makes the person who's doing the makeup feel better, like the confidence.
Okay.
It's not. It's kind of like if you like we're gonna talk about like maybe like a Shakespeare thing where they put on a mask, you know, and these dudes used to act in women parts, but they would put on a mask, and it turns you into a different person. And I'm not saying that makeup turns me into a different person or turns Bethany into a different person, but it makes you more confident to go out and be yourself. Because if you're weird like me, at least you look good doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to look good being weird. But also, most of the time, and I could be so wrong, but most of the time, women only dress for other women's compliments. We could not care any less about any dudes coming up to us.
That's so funny.
It's because, like, I have gone up to so many girls.
So you're not dressing for the guy. You're dressing straight just for, like, like affirmation of another woman.
Yeah, to be like, girl, look at your hair. It's looking real good today. Like,
or the opposite.
And I've done that. Well, like, if nobody's going to go up and be like, honey, you look like trash. Like, nobody's going to.
You're not going to have any friends after this episode either. It's over. Our listeners just went down to 0.
Well, nobody's going to do that. Like, I normally, if somebody is like, do I look good? And I'm like, oh, I'll find
if you
something.
pause
like,
in that response.
Your teeth look really clean today.
Oh, my word.
No, I've never
Your
said
breath
that
smells
to
good.
anyone.
Like, let's go with that. Like, what just happened?
Eye color looks really bright today. But no, most of the time, like, I'll be able to find something. But yeah, I mean, like, I hand out compliments left and right to
That's
other
funny.
women because it feels good to know that from another girl that, like, you did it right.
That's funny because the last class that I had, so I always ask college students crazy questions.
Yeah.
Just because I'm curious, like how their world is, and I'm so removed from it. You know, like I'm old enough to be your dad now, so it's one of those things where I'm
so
like,
weird.
hey, can I ask you some crazy questions? And they think it's fun because they're like, yeah, let me tell you about the world.
Yeah, you old timer.
Yeah, old timer. So, and because I have daughters, so I always ask like college students who are girls like questions about like just what's it like being a girl or whatever the case is, you know. And I had a student a couple classes ago. She said, because I was like, hey, you're a catch. Like, you love the Lord. You're doing well in school.
Yeah.
You know, like all of those things. And she's like, I don't even think boys notice me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, Richard, yo, date this girl. I'm matchmaking, you know. I was like,
that's funny.
I was like, are you for real? And she's like, no, like, she's like, I don't think anybody notices me. And I'm like, hold up. Like, and then I asked a bunch of other girls in the class and they're like, we don't think boys notice us at all. And I was like,
I bet that here's the thing.
That's
and
crazy.
you can speak on this.
There's probably 20%
that
that are lying. But
well, I don't think that for a long time guys like make it known because of fear of rejection.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that knocks a girl's confidence.
Yeah,
because
I could get that.
even though like I personally have maybe in that age I would dress, but like by that time I had been with Josh for 2 years already. Like by college, Josh and we're high school sweethearts. It's the cutest thing.
Nice.
Anyways, but I would dress a little bit in hopes that like
he would
dude
notice.
would be like, look at that. But then then you think about it and you're like, ew. You know what I mean? Like, ew.
Which people do that. It's called posturing. Like people posture themselves, like where they're like they want the person to see them in the right light. But that's kind of catfishing.
Kind
like
of.
Because that's not who you really truly are.
Yeah,
you know
kind
what I
of.
mean? Like just be yourself. And you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think whether it's fashion or anything else, girls pick up on confidence. Like, because
that's why other girls compliment girls, compliment each other, women compliment each other. Like there's so many, especially like in the time that your girls are in right now, like the ages that they are, girls are vicious.
Oh yeah.
They're so mean. And so like compliment each other.
Say something nice.
I'm telling you, like I am constantly like, I like your lipstick color. Oh, that shirt looks really good on you.
Do you think that's part of your personality though?
It might, 100%.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, like, it feels good.
Work
it feels
for it.
good to get a compliment.
Yeah.
And it feels even better if it's a compliment from a chick because you're like,
really?
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Interesting.
telling you. Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, it's cool to get it from a guy, but like, guys don't really know what they're
Well,
talking
and
about
sometimes
most of the time.
I think sometimes guys are, and I've learned this. Like, so Bethany and I are so secure in our relationship that we could be sitting and watching a movie, and I could be like, "She's pretty."
Yeah, I do.
I
Same
never
thing.
have to worry about it. Like, she doesn't look at me and be like, "Oh, you like her?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "She lives in Hollywood." Like, there's like, what?
I'm not gonna shoot my shot.
Yeah. Like, what's she gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
let me call her. You
Yeah.
know, like that's like, it's like we are that confident in our relationship, and it's the same with like females. Like, I could look at somebody and be like, "Hey, I like your shirt," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, your hair's cute today.
Yeah.
But I think some guys don't do that because they're too concerned that compliments can be taken in an inappropriate way.
And it
could be.
It could be. Don't
But you
be
gotta let it
creepy.
go.
I
Yeah,
mean, like,
don't be creepy.
Don't be creepy.
That's the weird.
That should be the title.
100%.
Fashion. Don't be creepy.
Right. Like, so when I was talking to these college kids, like, I told that girl, I was like, "You're a catch." And this guy looked at me, he's like, "Prof Muck." And I'm like, it's 19. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, you need to get your head out of the gutter and go,
Yeah.
like, trust Jesus, because obviously something's broken there. And I said, plus, like, you need to know that for yourself,
Yeah.
that your worth is not in what you wear or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
You do have something to offer to somebody that would compliment them well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever really dressed for anyone. It's been like, now I just dress because I'm like, well, I like this color, and
yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're kind of getting into that, like, well, and that's where I think it's hard, because you'll see people who, this might be my other greasy side, like, you see people who try too hard, and I'm like, I don't think
Yeah.
that's you.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't look comfortable in what you got on. Like,
But it's like, it definitely is a journey of like figuring it out.
oh, it takes a long time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, there's a lot of outfits like that you wear that I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that. But I don't think that you've always dressed like that. Like,
man, so like, I've always been into that side of things. So like, I feel like there's a lot of times where I was raised by women.
well, your mom was.
Well, your mom's a female. not
so
that way. Like, I've like, probably, this is going to be a 90s comment, but like, my feminine side is probably higher than other than other guys.
Yeah.
Like, just
Like,
full transparency.
Josh doesn't.
Josh wears the same
But-
pink shirt and shorts every time I see him. There's 3 outfits that your husband wears, and I could pretty much
What's
like tell
really
you which
funny
one he's
is
coming.
like, he has expanded his
Yeah.
wardrobe so much.
When he comes in with an
Oh.
outfit on, I'm like, whoa, did Kim dress you this morning? Like, what happened?
No, there are very few times that he will.
He's
he'll
an
get-
electrician, though. Like, I mean,
He'll get the same shirt. I think he kind of wants to maybe be more fashionable, but like also has no care in the world. Like, we've definitely
Right.
had not arguments, but like discussions, because
Yeah.
he's like, why do you care so much? And I'm like, because it makes me feel good. Like,
which
I
is the
just-
weird thing, right? Because like, there's times where this is hard. If you're married, like, and you're doing something that you're like, your spouse should be the only person that you're trying to impress.
Yeah.
So like, if like when I get dressed in the morning and I walk downstairs and Bethany looks at me, she goes,
you
"Oh, you look nice."
in your skirt.
Yeah. I'm like,
Ew.
I did it, right? Like, but if you're trying to be something and your spouse doesn't like it, like, it was funny. I was talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but they were talking like about their hair and their spouse didn't like it. I was like, bro, cut it.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And I'm like, if your wife hates it, like what is the point? You know, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I've been trying. If there was one thing, and Josh doesn't listen to this, so he'll never
We
hear
can say
it.
whatever we want.
I can say whatever. But if there was one thing, he has the prettiest hair. Nobody knows it.
It's short though.
It is short. And I want him so
To grow it out?
badly, to just grow it out a little bit and like
So you can
get
see
it
it.
styled.
Yeah.
Because he has like these big ringlet curls. Like
Yeah.
he
Like your
has-
boys. Little bit.
Their curls are a little more tight than
Okay,
Josh's.
okay,
Josh
yeah.
has like really big ringlet curls. He
Yeah.
used to have longer hair
Yeah.
in high school, and now I look and I'm like, oh my goodness, how did I think that was attractive? But like, just grow it out a little bit and like style it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like something that he needs to take so much time, but he's like, I'm not gonna pay for somebody to cut my hair when I can just buzz it. And I'm like, come
It's hard too when people like, and he has like somewhat of a uniform that he wears.
Yes.
So for work, I think it's hard too because when you wear the uniform all the time and then you come out of it, it's like, oh, what do I do again? Because it's been dictated for you forever.
Well, and he specifically is just so like analytical and pragmatic that he's like, that's the
doesn't
dumbest.
make sense.
I'm not gonna spend $30 for somebody to style my hair when I'll just do it myself.
So it's good to know that Josh is sitting in the chair on Sunday morning looking at me going, man, that looks like it took a lot of work. Like, you're wasting your life.
Which it probably doesn't, right? Like,
I think about my outfit for Sunday now, like pretty much starting on Monday.
do you really?
Yeah. Because, oh man, so we're moving into we're kind of moving into graceful things anyway.
Yeah.
So like, I have learned that, and this is just the past couple of weeks that come manifest. Like, if I do think about it, I've kind of mentally prepared for it, because if you ever put an outfit on where you're like, I just don't feel right in it.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be kind of mentally prepared that this is what I'm going to wear.
Yeah.
And then also be mindful that I don't want it to distract from anybody either.
Yeah.
So like, if you're distracting, I think that's, which goes into your crop top thing, right? Like, you should look presentable. And it's kind of the photo illustration, like, be in the picture, but don't be in the front of the picture.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of where I live at.
I like it.
Do you think about what you wear, like, all the time?
No, because like I could think about it like today for what I'm wearing tomorrow, but then I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, I don't feel like that outfit.
Oh, really?
So I very much dress according to like how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of different options. Like today, it's a little bit more like streetwear kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But like, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to wear for work today, and that is a little bit more streetwear-ish, like adjacent.
Yeah.
But then like tomorrow, I could feel like I want to be like in the 1950s, and so I like
100%.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like how I feel, and then
Seasonal changes everything too.
Yeah, seasonal changes everything, and the colors and everything like that. I mean, like there's a lot of fabrics, because I love linen, but I can't. You don't wear linen in the middle of winter.
Linen is super hard to wear because it can make you feel almost too relaxed.
Yes.
Yeah. Like there's definitely like a an element to it where you're like, I should be on a beach.
Yeah. There's different. There's different outfits for different things. So.
Well, and to go back to like the greasy side of things, like I think that's where it's hard too, as well, as if you can't let it dictate your mood. But we're getting into like this time where I'm like, what you chose to put on is not presentable, and I think that's my biggest hang up with fashion, whether that be school fashion or in the church or whatever the case is. Like, you can look nice and wear a hooded sweatshirt and jeans, which is what I have on today.
Yeah.
And you can still look presentable.
A lot of people don't know how to style though. And so that's, I think, a lot of the issue. Like I just took my mom back to school shopping.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And so like I got her a couple of outfits, but I was telling her like, it's not the clothes, it's how you style the clothes.
100%.
And so like I'll be going over and like we're gonna style all of the clothes for her and take pictures so that she knows how.
Just like she can flip through, which is what like Stitch Fix does. They give you like a style guide.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm gonna be doing. I once had you can look good without having to put much effort into the outfit.
And some of the things is like,
it.
if something has gone to like the point where it needs to be removed, like I'll just throw it out there. Shoes drive me crazy. I look at people's shoes a lot and I'm like, your shoes are gross. Like
shoes and pant mix drives me crazy.
But like sneakers, like I love sneakers.
Stop wearing them with dresses. That's a big grease
or dress
for me right
pants
now.
for that
Oh
matter.
my goodness! Stop wearing your like New Balance shoes
with a dress.
With dresses, it looks ridiculous.
I feel the same way about dress
never
pants.
Liked it.
When people wear like a full blown suit and they have sneakers, I'm like, what are you doing? Like that's not how that's supposed to go. Yeah. Oh, they're like, oh, I'm here for business, but I'm also like, just in case we get into a 100-yard dash. Get out of here, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
I can't. It drives me crazy too. So,
but sneakers that are dirty, like that drives me crazy. I'm like, those sneakers are old. You mow the yard in those. You don't go out in those.
Yeah, I very much agree. I have.
Anyway, you were gonna ask a
mommy
question.
issues.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm curious. As a dad
Oh, boy.
of 2 daughters, what is your
Pray for me.
grease
Pray for me.
on fashion? Like, shorts are really short right now.
We
How
might
do
have
you
a whole
guys-
episode just on grease, by the way. We're not even going to get into the graceful things. The clock is ticking here. Anyway.
What is your, like, what's that like? Because I know that I was once I still am a daughter.
I was going to say.
I was a daughter. I still am a daughter.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like, in school, dealing with, like, back to school fashion and things like that do you have any greases about that? Like,
So this is where, like, me being a dad is probably 100% different, because, like, I'm the type of dad, my kids and my wife will come down and be like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Like, they will ask my opinion on it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, those shoes got to go. Or, like, that belt doesn't match those pants, whatever the case is. So, like, I feel good that, like, my family does that. When it comes to back to school, our girls know kind of the parameters. The thing right now is, because everything is so high, is junior high school girls will pull their pants up so high that they become so short.
that they got an extra set of cheeks to be powdered.
100%. So I'm like, you have to pull your pants down. Like, they're too high. And
do they ride up? I feel like there are some shorts because
some shorts do ride up.
they
Yeah,
just ride up because of how the short is.
Yeah. And when you're
constructed.
wearing a shirt that's over, this drives me crazy, that it's over those shorts, it's so long, because girls do this all the time. I'm like, you look like you don't have any pants on.
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I've seen that so many times, and it's not that I'm like judging it, but I know.
Oh, I'm judging all day.
I'm not. But
Somebody's
also,
like, you shouldn't judge. Like, hold on a second. Like,
also, I remember as a teenager, like in school, I remember so many conversations where they were like, where my parents were like, it doesn't look like you're wearing any pants.
100%.
You are not going to school if you do not change those pants. You know, like, and it was a constant. I was never allowed to wear shorts that short.
It kind of goes back to, because I think people, like, let's just say our mom and dads and you and I, we are old enough to remember the time when Hollywood and movies, the girl in the movie who was trying to be seductive, she would wear the button-down shirt with
very buttoned down.
Yeah. Like a men's button-down shirt, and that was extremely risque. So I think what happens in our mind is we see that and we go back to that.
Yeah.
And we're like, you're being seducing. Where, like, the kids today look at that and they go, I just have a long T-shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a nephew who is a freshman in high school, and his mom has talked about, like, fashion and how different he thinks, because like, they don't find, I don't know, it could just be because, like, he's not going to tell his mom, but, like, they don't find that attractive, like,
right,
because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
To which I'm like, okay.
I think it's all connotations, like, because there are things that pop up into our mind, whether it's the movies we've seen or, you know, the way that the TV shows that we have watched or whatever the case is. Like, I remember very vividly the TGIF shows when the girl was trying to seduce the boy. She had a long shirt on and it looked like she doesn't have any shorts on, you know, and it's like those images come back up in your head. Well, kids today, they don't have any idea what you're talking about. They just think, like,
this is just what I wear.
This is what everybody, 100%, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just went out and, okay. Like, so you have to kind of, like, revisit yourself, I think, in that a little bit.
Yeah.
To be a little graceful in it. And so, like, what we tell our girls is, like, you don't look like you're wearing any pants. Just straight up.
Yeah. Which I'm sure I think eventually will appreciate, because often what you were saying about when the girls, like, come down and they're, like, asking you your opinion and you're like, don't wear that belt, don't wear those shoes, kind of a thing. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are scared, because I was at a store with my mom for the back to school thing, and there was another woman who came out and she heard me talking to my mom and just telling her, no, that doesn't fit you right, that's not hitting you where it needs to hit you, like, this just looks off. And there was a girl who was also back to school shopping with her,
Nice.
her teacher mom, and she was like, oh no, those pants look good, and I was like, no, they don't, like, no, don't buy those pants. And so I turned to her and I was like, no, they're cool pants. I love the pants. They don't fit her well. They fit somebody else well. And so many people are scared on the backside to say something where, like, because it might hurt their feelings. But no, like, it's coming out of like, hey, I want you to look like your best self. But there was a lady who was right next to my mom in the fitting room who came out, and she was like, well, what do you think about these jeans?
Yeah. And you're like, here I am.
I'm like giving out.
I'm ready.
Fashion advice.
Let me pull up a stool.
And like, I was like, I don't.
100%.
Do I get paid for this?
100%.
But yeah, I say whenever I've gone clothes shopping with a couple of other people.
Yeah.
And I'm just honest because I'm like, no, that just because it doesn't look good on you, I'm not saying that you look bad. I'm saying that is not looking.
I take my girls back to school shopping.
Yeah.
And Bethany's like totally comfortable that there's guys listening to this that probably are like, what? And I'm like, I was sitting on Kohl's floor. My daughter is like in the changing room, like, and she would come out and like, okay, Dad, what do you think of this? And like, I would go and get something and be like, this is gonna work with that. This doesn't work, or this doesn't work with your body type. You need to try this, or whatever the case is.
And I'm sure also that saves you a lot of money
100%.
Because then your girls aren't going home with something that like. And I'm not saying Bethany is like this, but I know a lot of women are like this, where they're like, it's cute, and then the dad sees how short the shorts are, and he's like, my daughter is not going out like that. You know what I mean? Like, it saves you. Dudes, get more active.
Get involved.
Especially your daughters. I have 2 sons. All they care about is like the dry fit shirts and athletic
You dress
pants.
them up though. They'll get there. Yeah.
I try. Miles has really been trying to like venture out a little bit, and it's really killing me. So
the other thing is like kids are constantly looking to be validated.
Yeah.
So like, and when you get into the junior high stage, they're going to push back a little bit, and they're doing that for independence. They're not doing that because they hate you. They're doing that because they're fighting for their independence. Yep. And so you can have, a really big, you can still help in that regard, giving them some independence. Like, for example, like when John and I were at back to school shopping, there was something that she wanted that I wasn't really feeling, but it wasn't outside of like modesty. Yeah. Like it was super modest actually, and it was like fell into her style. I wasn't really sold on it. I looked at her and I'm like, get it.
Yeah.
And the only reason I said that was because it gave her a little bit of an independence, but it also was like me saying like, hey, not this, but that works.
Yeah.
So it's fine. And then they're good with it.
Yeah.
What's some of your graceful things?
Some of my graceful things. So I like wearing color.
Yeah.
It is a direct, like almost a direct.
Hence, ginormous pants with green splotches on them. If there's a reason to come to our church, people are going to show up at our church and be like, okay, where's Kim and Jordan at? Like, what do we got going on today?
I get so many compliments on those pants. So for anybody who has not seen these pants, they're like palazzo pants.
Yeah.
Like silky palazzo pants, and they're like Kelly green and white, wavy, big waves.
Yeah.
All over. And I just wore it
They're
with
legit.
like a green bodysuit, and I love.
You wore them on a day too when everybody wore green. Like for whatever reason, like every person
weird.
was in green that day.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
But no, I love color, and I am not somebody like. So when I was growing up, my mom, she never got any shirts that had like any kind of character on them or anything. So I learned
just kind of
plain or patterns, and so I still dress almost like that. I mean, like I have shirts now that have stuff on it, like the shirt that I'm wearing today. It has a giant peace sign on it.
Yeah.
But I learned how to dress to my style without having like a character on it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are like, well, how do you put this and this and this together? And I'm like, you just do. Like,
here's how you do it. Here's the trick to putting stuff together. Find one piece you like, go on Google and put men's or women's, whichever one you are. Let's just say, because I'm wearing them right now, green jeans.
Yeah.
And don't put fashion behind it. Don't put anything like that. Just put men's
or Pinterest
green jeans. Yeah. Pinterest is a
I've
big one too.
That.
And then you just start like looking, and you're like, oh, okay. majority of the people in those photos are wearing black t-shirts. So black is going to be that. So whether it's a t-shirt or sweatshirt, whatever the case is, and those things will match up together.
Yeah.
Like, and then you just keep kind of working your way down. Like, okay, like, so shoes, like, what do I go for shoes? Majority of the time too, like, you'll have it. The other thing people, I think, look at is they go, this is expensive, right? If you're a deal shopper and if you can wait and if you can get on some stuff, because there's a lot of people look at me and be like, well, you spend way too much money on clothes. I'm like, hold up a second. Like, you'd be shocked at how little I spend just because it's just a piece and it goes with some other piece to it.
Yeah.
So
I always, my rule of thumb is like if you are listening to this and you're like, I'm just going to throw all of my clothes out and start from scratch.
do it. Go ahead.
Cool. And this is how I was talking to my mom. Start with your basics. Start with like some good pair of jeans that fit you. Like start with some like
that you like,
jackets
that you're comfortable in.
Like, yes. And then build off of those and spend some money on those because you'll be wearing them more.
Yep.
And so like I spend money mostly on jeans and jackets, but then like my t-shirts and stuff like that are most of the time like $10 or less.
100%.
And so
just so you guys know, women's clothing is way cheaper than men's clothing. Just tell you that right now.
Is it?
Majority of it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Because there's more of it.
Huh. I go to men's section a lot.
I almost never
like,
shop like
ups.
in a store. I always do it online anymore.
I'm not an online shopper, which we're going into another. That's going to be another Grace and Grace on another day. But I'm not an online shopper much. I need to try it on. because I want to see how it fits.
Yeah.
I'm okay at returning, but like I want to see how it fits at the time.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And so my graceful thing is like I love color. I love wearing color. I see other people wearing color. I follow people on Instagram who like,
really?
Oh yeah. There's two. The interesting thing is like I think I have 4 different chicks that I follow who kind of have the same body type as me.
Yeah.
None of them have the same style and I don't have the same style as them. But I look at them for like pieces that
inspiration.
I like. Yeah. So like there's one chick and I love her style. She's like edgy, kind of alternative.
Yeah.
She's got like blue on the tips of her hair. Like it's not anything that's like
not
super
flashy.
not at all. And I just like her. It's a simplicity with color, like how I dress.
Yeah.
There's another one who she is like rocker and I love it. I wish that I could dress like her.
You're coveting.
But it's not my style.
Yeah.
So like while I look at her and I'm like, oh, you're so cool, I know that it's not me, and if I wore that every time,
but you could look at
like,
that.
what?
Can't you look at that though and go like, I like that piece, and I could use that piece.
Yes, and that's what I do. So like it's not. It is that I like wish that I could dress like her, but also I'm like that's not me. So I recognize that like no, I have another one who she is all color, and it is like.
Like overload.
It's she needs to be like a preschool teacher. She dresses in like the coolest, brightest
She ate a lot of glue before she put that outfit on.
And then there's this last one, and she also wears a lot of colors in a really interesting, unique way. She's really good at pairing hues, which I don't think a lot of people understand.
Yeah.
Hues and colors are totally different.
Yeah.
And people, it irks me.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand that just because something is blue doesn't mean that it's going to go with this
100%.
blue something else because it's not the same hue. It's not in the same it's not in the same hue, and it drives me crazy.
It's like if you have like we just go back to green. Like if you have green pants on and a green watch band, like those can clash.
Yes,
because they could be different.
Some greens go really nicely together.
Yeah.
Some do not.
Yeah,
and people don't recognize that a lot of times.
But I think the other thing you can do too is like that people probably don't know is I learned this a while ago. People are gonna like have weird thoughts about me, but grab a color wheel. Like the color wheel has helped a ton because I'm like, I don't know. And you just look on the color wheel and you can go right across from it and you're like, oh, okay. Like that's how this works. There's so many people out there that will help you with that too as well. it's like anything else in this world. It's not as complicated as you're making it out to be.
Really, it's not.
Yeah. You're making it way
just
too
buy
hard.
the things that you like, and then you'll find how to put them together.
Yeah.
The end. There's so many times that I sit at the end of my bed. Our closet is right directly across from our bed, and Josh at this point is like, "So what are we watching today?" Because I just sit there and like stare at my clothes until like one piece.
You're like,
sticks
I'm
out
waiting.
to me.
I'm waiting for the Lord to reveal what I should wear today.
Yeah, that's very much.
And he's like,
very
Kim, that's
true.
not what I'm concerned about right now at all. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
other things that we need to tackle.
Yeah.
But you need to get
But
off the
you're
bed and get
sitting here-
dressed first. So, like, okay.
Yeah.
Give me another one. Any other grace?
I mean, so what we were talking about. So I like that clothing can kind of speak
How you feel?
how you feel, but like, so I'm wearing a shirt by a company that they have like edifying clothes.
Yeah.
So
If there is such a thing.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like it's got a verse on it and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so I'm
There's a message to it. Let's say
there's
that.
a message to it, yeah. And I like wearing things that are, it's not a subliminal message, but
Yeah.
like the shirt that I'm wearing today, it's like a peace sign for anybody who's not looking at me, which is everybody except for Jordan. But it's got a peace
there,
sign,
man.
and it's just a message that it just is from 2 Thessalonians 3:16.
Yeah.
But like that's not what sticks out to you. It's on the shirt, but that's not what sticks out to you. And I like
the little hint.
yeah, I like being able to kind of like,
I saw a shirt.
here's a piece of the Lord.
I saw a shirt the other day, and the back says like, "If you're reading this," and it
Oh,
the
yeah.
rest of it doesn't matter. But like, I thought like I love that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're reading this, like, there's still hope, or whatever the case
Yeah.
is. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know. Like,
Yeah.
we did that this year with we kind of stole that from, because at sports camp we had the people who pray over sports camp. We said like, ask me to pray for you.
Yeah.
And it was on their back, you know, tap
Yeah.
me on the shoulder, ask
I
me to
did
pray
like
for
those.
you. Yeah, those are kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
I would say my graceful thing, oh man, that's so hard, is it kind of goes into both realms. Like, you have the good and the bad. And the bad is that people in our culture right now can kind of do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the good side too. Like, so you can show up at a place and you can still wear something that is going to maybe be a little bit different than everybody else in the room, and that's okay. If it's done right.
Yeah.
But and the bad, that's also a bad part too. So I'm kind of like I'm kind of mixing the grease and grace here, because there's been times where I've walked into a room and an individual's been there and like they didn't get like fashion or they just didn't get like that this was going to be part of that, and they just looked out.
Yeah.
And what happened in the same breath was they lost everybody in the room too, because there was an instant discrediting.
Yeah.
Whereas another person that was in the room knew what they were doing, was a little different, but still very classy enough to connect with people. So you have to read the room a little bit too. Like you just said it, like, you're going to go to this spot, I'm going to change.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the thing that it really boils down to. I know people aren't listening to our podcast for personal like life advice a whole lot. They're just looking to
They
laugh.
can get some.
But I'll give you that. Like, consider where you're going in the day.
Yeah.
Consider the people who you're going to interact with. I had a dear friend of mine who told me a long time ago, like, if you're going to be in the office, just be aware that people could come into the office who may have had a crisis, and how would they, respond to you wearing
yeah.
what you wear.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's great. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wearing the wrong thing. I'm just saying be mindful of that could happen
That's
and
a good-
transpire.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
And it's the same thing. Like, can you imagine walking into like a restaurant and the lady who greets you is in just
Like Tweety pajamas.
yeah,
from
yeah,
Walmart.
You're like, what is happening here?
I once had to deal with that. You came in on this particular day. I don't know.
no.
So I used to have a restaurant.
Yep.
Everybody knows that now.
Yep.
And I had an employee. And I think you sent me a text. I'm sure.
Oh,
of
like
it.
when I left, like, hey, like, this is not okay.
So this girl, she was wearing shorts, very short shorts, a red shirt that said something on it.
yeah.
And it was a crop top.
Yeah.
and then she was wearing leggings underneath it, which can be done
If you do it right.
if you do it right.
You also look like you're going to basketball practice.
Lime green fishnet tights.
Oh, and they had marijuana leaves on.
They had marijuana leaves
Yeah.
on them. And I was like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do. All of you people are coming in for coffee. And so finally, like because she came in right at lunch, and I remember that day was really busy. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so then after lunch, I was like, you cannot wear that.
Yeah.
You cannot wear that.
Yeah.
Be mindful of where you are at.
I feel the same way about anything that has a swear word on it. Like,
yeah.
And it's not just fashion. It is with like people in their trucks or their cars or whatever the case is when they put like a bumper sticker on or whatever the case is. I was like, there is nothing in planet Earth that you need to wear a shirt that has a swear word on it. Like, just don't do it, man. Like, you're going for shock value. 100%. And you are in it for people to pay attention to you. You are not in it for the statement or whatever the case is. It drives me absolutely crazy.
Agree.
Mad.
I could talk so much longer.
All right.
I know that we are like
landing the plane.
So,
all right, Kim. So closing thoughts, last words. Anything you want to hear from El People Reno?
I want to hear who do you dress for? Do you dress for?
Oh, that's a good one.
What when you're getting your clothes on? Are you dressing for like a compliment? Are you dressing for a male gaze? What are you dressing for?
Comfort.
Like what is your like go-to outfits kind of a thing? What is your style? Like, there's some people like who can pull off like the 1920s like
100%.
suit and tie, and it looks so good.
Yeah.
There's so many times that like I now like follow men's fashion just as much as I do women's fashion.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times like if I was a dude, I would be like so clean cut. Like I love
the barbershop. I love the whole 9 yards. Like,
yeah. So I want to hear like what's your kind of fashion that you like, but for most just dress in stuff that makes you feel good about who you are. So then you can go out into the world and just like be yourself.
I would say, man, that's a hard one. Like looking for like a response. I would say, first of all, I'm always curious what people's like, this is my go-to like outfit, whether that be for a job interview or this is what I wear like to hang out at night, or this is like my favorite sweatshirt or whatever the case is. So like that's number one is like what's your go-to outfit, and then number two is like what's your go-to like piece. Like for me, it's sneakers. It's always been sneakers. I just love footwear.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Mine are glasses.
Really?
Yeah.
You do have a lot of them.
I have 21 pairs of fake glasses.
What?
I have 21 pairs. Uh-huh.
It's so funny because glasses are those one things that you can wear, and it's like, I have a disability, but not really. Like, you would never roll around in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, no, I don't know if you can say accessories because like that's all inclusive. But I have a lot of glasses.
That's
and
outstanding.
I love them. I love them so much.
Everybody has like a piece. Mm-hmm. Like if you watch people, like you can start to pick up on it after a while. You're like, oh, that's your thing, huh?
Yeah.
Like
my thing is glasses, and I can see perfectly fine.
Josh's is pink t-shirts.
Salmon.
They're salmon colored, actually. They're not
salmon
pink.
Striped, and his teal shorts.
You got it. That's it. That's his go-to. I see him in that all the time.
Yeah, he does wear that a lot. That's
man.
Anyway.
Well, we're covering some ground, a little bit different than normal, but there still is grease and grace to it.
Yeah.
And just honing it down into like a specific area is helpful a little bit. We should probably revisit this. In regards to like we could go into a different vein there for sure.
Absolutely.
But hey, we want to hear from you guys. So if you have stories, like tell us your fashion story. If you have questions, tell us your fashion question or ask us. Hey, that's a good idea. Like you could ask us what we think.
Tell you what we think.
Send us a photo of what you look like. We'll tell you if you look good or not. No, it's not gonna happen. What do we got going on next week, Kim?
We are talking about jobs and working.
Oh yeah,
because it's Labor Day when
the
the next episode comes out. So we'll just be talking about like careers,
the workplace,
working, some workplace stories if we've got
100%.
them, like all of that.
Cool.
So that's what we'll be talking about next week.
So Labor Day's coming up, so we're gonna hit on the workforce for sure. Rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends or family. If we made you laugh, if we made you yell at the radio, definitely, or phone, or whatever the case is.
Also, no, we're not judging you for your outfits when you're wearing them.
No, it's fine. We'll do that when you're not around. But you can reach out to us on social media. We are on Instagram, Grease and Grace, and Facebook. We are also at greaseandgracepod.com, or you can shoot us an email at greaseandgracepod@gmail.com. Until then, we'll talk to you soon.
Later.